Unfortunately, the good guys didn't want to come. I present to you, without a shadow of doubt, Tyler Ferron!
The platypus controlling me.
Yeah, how's it all going, you know? This good old Fargo evening. Yeah, you know, I didn't grow up in Fargo. I come up here from a little old town called West Cliff, Colorado, population like 495. I am related to like half of them. So, you know, I decided to go up here like to North Dakota, like any normal person would. You know, it's interesting, because I talked to a lot of like Fargo locals, and they're like, oh yeah, it sucks up here. There's nothing to do. What do you mean? It's like either you're lying or you don't know what nothing means. Because a small town in the middle of the mountains, that's truly nothing to do. Anyway, but yeah, it was such a culture shock coming up here. It's really weird. You all like use the locks on your doors? Seriously, like the only time someone will use the lock on their front door is if they're going on vacation for at least a year. Even your car doors, you'll never lock them. In front of the grocery store, you'll see people just having their cars idled out there for like half an hour. And it's like, thanks for the emissions, guys. But no, like it was just, it's just a different place. One time, me, my sister, and my mom were going over to the grocery store, and we passed by the clinic. My grandma works at the community clinic. Quick aside, we call her Yaya, which if you didn't know is Greek for grandma. So it's interesting because we are not Greek. The way it goes is my grandma, when she was a baby, her landlord was, her parents' landlord. She didn't own the lease or anything. But the landlord of their house was an older Greek woman, and she would call her the Greek term for baby girl. And when my grandma, it was time to pick out her grandma name, like you do, she was like, oh, I'll continue on with the Greek theme. You know, which is cute, but I'm pretty sure it's cultural appropriation. But she's old, it's fine. No, so we were passing this clinic, and my mom suddenly turns into the clinic parking lot. And we're like, Mom, you're acting just slightly more crazy than normal. What's going on? It's like, oh, I want to see Yaya's new car. She recently got a new Jeep Cherokee. And we're like, okay, you're just going to stop in, say hi, say, hey, can I take a look at your car? It's like, no, I'm just going to break in. We're like, oh, okay. So we drive up, we see a Jeep Cherokee in the parking lot. It's the only one there. I'm like, oh, this must be it. So she parks there, and I thought she's just going to like go around the car, look in the windows, just kind of like a creep. No, as soon as we get out, she walks up to the front door, and it's just gets in, starts like pressing buttons and going through the glove compartment like a rabid raccoon. We were just like, Mom, what are you doing? It's like, I'm being a creep. Let me do this. God. Which, by the way, we're not entirely sure that this is her car. I mean, it is Colorado. A third of the cars are Jeeps there. We have a total of like 3 different automobiles that you could drive. It's Jeep, pickup truck, and Subaru. That's it. Like, without us, I'm pretty sure Subaru would be out of business. But no, I'm sitting in the car like, I just don't want to associate with this. You know, I don't want to be a witness, I'll just be over here. But then I see out the corner of my eye, she pulls out a napkin and a pen and starts like writing a note. And I'm like, what are you doing trying to leave evidence? This is a covert operation, come on. But no, like I said, I just had to get used to it, honestly. For the most part, when coming up here, I kept the door to my room locked most of the time. There was one time I didn't lock the door, and after that I made sure to keep it locked. So freshman year, I stayed over in Reed Hall, which is the hall for those who couldn't bother choosing a different hall to live in. But no, it was like kind of December-ish. It was a Saturday night. It was a really long day for me. So I was just kaput. My roommate was out of town visiting his parents. And it was one of those like really nice, deep, dreamless sleeps. Like you don't even know what's going on. So I'm like, it's like 3 a.m. And suddenly I hear at the back of my head, and my brain, my subconscious mind is like, alert, alert, alert. I'm like, what is going on? Something is afoot here. That is my door that's opening. So I kind of crane my head, mostly unconscious, and I just see coming through the door this large silhouette masked by the light from the hallway. Just, and I'm like, oh hey, it's my roommate Luke. He's coming home from his parents' house at 3 a.m. That's great. Hi Luke. And I get a response that doesn't sound like him. I'm not even sure, but because I'm still mostly asleep at this point. In my mind, I'm just like, something isn't right here. You should probably check it out to make sure you're not going to get murdered. So I got up. I was in kind of one of those lofted beds. So I had to get up, climb down the ladder, go over to the light, because it was still off, turn on the light. I'm blinded for like 45 seconds. And just as I'm kind of like striking up conversation with this guy, I was like, oh, hey, Luke. You know, what's going on? I can't tell what he's saying. I'm focusing in on this guy. It's like, that doesn't look like Luke. I'm like, oh, hey man, what are you doing here? This is my room.
No, man, this is my room.
I'm like, no. This is, in fact, the room of my room in this dormitory. No, this is my room. He's clearly out of it. Drunk, probably high with something else. I don't know. He smelled. Slowly, as I'm like having this conversation with this guy, I'm slowly, regaining my consciousness. And I get to the point where I'm like, listen, man, this isn't your room. You gotta go. And you're like, okay, man. Yeah, sure. Just listen. No cops. No cops. I don't know why no cops is relevant. Do I want to know? Not in particular. Just go. So he like walks past me and he holds out his hand, right? I'm just like, does he want me to shake his hand? Whatever gets him out the door. So like slowly like go to shake his hand. He grabs it and pulls me into like the bro hug situation. I'm just like, you're moist. No. My knuckles, they touch his chest. And when I pull my hand away, my knuckles are covered in blood. Oh. So I'm just like, go. Leave. He leaves. I close the door behind him immediately because I'm freaked out. I'm standing there in the middle of the floor of my door. I'm like, what the hell do I do about this? Do I actually tell someone about this? Do I just pretend it didn't happen? What do I do? And then I look to my left. And on my left, by my desk, is a backpack. A backpack that is not mine. I'm just like, oh. Is there a bomb in that thing? What's in it? You can see a severed head. Great, I have to deal with this now. So I go over, I picked it up. It's damp. It smells like vomit. I'm just like, oh, this is great. I made sure to look in there just to make sure there's nothing that was going to kill me or incriminate me in court. That's the very first thing you should do. Luckily, there wasn't. I'm like, okay, I have to deal with this. I went ahead and woke up my roommate at 3 a.m., gave him that, and I was like, yeah. He asked me, did you see where he went? And I was like, no, I was too busy trying to be not murdered. So I didn't pertain to ask where his next destination was. But talking about this now, I'll say there is a non-zero-sum chance that guy was a ghost. Now, hear me out. It's the slow creaking open door, kind of like the drunken moan, just like, he was wearing all white, soaked in blood apparently, and it was 3 a.m., which if you don't know, is technically the witching hour. So, I'm just gonna throw that out there. And you know, like, I have a semi-interesting history with ghosts. I've never seen one myself, but I believe that they could be there, because if I don't believe in them and it turns out that they are real, then I just look like an asshole. So, why not just play the safe route? But no, one time, me and my parents, when we were coming up here to drop me off at college, like, let's do the tourism thing. Drive up from Colorado. Let's go to South Dakota, see Mount Rushmore. Let's go to Deadwood, which, if you don't know, Deadwood is a big tourist attraction with Western style, lots of casinos. There's gun shows in the street, and they also do ghost tours. One of which was a ghost tour of this big Deadwood hotel. And we're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. So we go, and they're like, yeah, this hotel was once a heavily used brothel. As such, most of the spirits here are the employees, if you know what I mean. So like, okay, cool, yeah, history and all that. And they made sure to mention most of the ghosts tend to appear to attractive young men. I did not see a single ghost. Which, you know, me being 18 years old at the time, thinking I'm hot stuff, it's like, this is really emasculating. I don't know how I feel about this. But at the same time, it's, yeah, I was, disappointed that they thought that way. I was kind of insulted. But at the same time, kind of relieved, because that would have been a very toxic relationship. Anyway, that was me. Thank you all.